Hello, 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 and welcome to Bad Mouse Gaming. I'm your host, Dave, aka Bad Mouse, and we are back in Asteroid Colony. A very exciting episode today. We are going to go over logistics, pathways, and just different ways of routing things. We're going to talk about the different blocks. We're going to talk about the different belts, different tubes. We're going to talk about the signals. We're going to talk about drones. We're going to talk about everything. But before we get into this awesome video, let me remind everybody, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button down there. It does mean a lot to me. I like to try to get at least one on this video. And be sure to click the like button if this turns out to be something that really helps you out. And of course, leave a comment down below. I enjoy interacting in the comments. And with all that, let's jump into this and let's do a little bit more Asteroid Colony.
Yeah. Gang, this bitch. Ay, said that they know me, they didn't. I'm coming to your block and I'm hitting your kittens. Shawty, she said I'm a villain, but she can't explain all the ways that she's feeling. Shawty, I hear you.
Alright, I loaded up a test map here so that we could talk about a few different things. I've got 12 of these miners going, but I think we're only going to use half of them for this video. I've set up a couple sample belts and a couple sample tubes here. I want to start with the tubes right off the bat. I guess we can go over both of these with the speed real quick. If you was to look, just look at the yeah, just that much. Don't let the rest of it throw you off. You can see that the left side's moving way faster than the right side. That's because when you look at your pathways, you got two different kinds of belts here. This belt's the slow belt, this belt's the fast belt. Same thing with the tubes. This is the slow tube, this is the fast tube. A little word of advice. These tubes are awesome for vertical transport, but they do cost you. You're going to have to hand mine the quartz in order to make all the glass you need to make these. And then we have the conveyor joint, which converts the belt into tubes and vice versa. So you can see the speeds here are very clear. Now if we come over here and look at the tubes, you can see how the red tube is going much faster than the blue tube. I kind of wish the speed difference was the same on the belts. Like, I wish these were moving a whole lot faster. Maybe that might get adjusted somewhere in the future. But anyhow, let's talk about this real quick. I left this set up like this. You notice that we have a nice little curve coming out. Same thing with this one. But this one here is flat. And it's hitting the conveyor belt and being shuffled in. Same thing with this one. Flat, hitting the conveyor belt, shuffle in. So let's set up a couple examples here. I want to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so we have a conveyor joint here. The output is on the round side. The input is on the square side. So if we try to put a belt coming off of this, let's see here, we can do a belt like that. Put in a little storage thing. And then let's put in some gold. And you'll see the gold is going right into the joiner. And then if we wanted to put a belt coming out of that, that's where you're going to run in troubles. You're not going to get anything coming out that side. So the way you would want to set this up is, let me do a couple here. Whoops, I don't want to lose my gold. Let's take that out. Let that run in there. Alright, let's get rid of this stuff here. Alright, now let's grab ourselves some tubes. So we can bring a tube coming off of this side. But if we want stuff to go in that way, we're just going to build a simple little system here real quick. And then let's put in a joiner right here. We want the round side facing us. See how it nicely curved up in there? So now we could put a conveyor belt here going into the square side. We'll put in our storage container. We'll drop in some gold. And you see the gold's going up. It's going down. Oh, let's delete you. So let's grab our number 4. You see our arrow, it's pointing outwards. Everything seems to be okay. Now let's get our belt. There's the trouble. Nothing's coming out. That's because we're trying to put our square belt in a round hole. That works going in that way okay. But what we're looking for is this type of scenario. Where it comes down flat on the belt and it's able to exit. So let's grab all this real quick. Well, I guess it emptied itself out that fast. Now I'm going to show you how to fix this. Let's delete this one. And let's grab that. And this time we want to face it towards the belt. Even though the input direction's the wrong way, we have the round side facing the tube. Now if we click on this, we have this little icon here. This will allow us to swap directions of the inputs and outputs. So right now we have out on this side and in on this side. We're going to hit this and then it changes. So now this setup will work. There you go. So that's how you go from belt to tube, from tube to belt. I hope that helped a lot of people, because that one got me for a few minutes till I figured out what was going on. So that takes care of the difference between the belts and tubes and how to kind of hook them up. Basically, you just want your belt to run into the next belt, and then whatever direction that belt's going, that's the direction your stuff's going to go. It's really not that hard. And then if you hit your Q button for delete and highlight the belt itself and hit your R button, you can rotate that and have it go another direction without actually deleting it and picking it back up and redoing it. So now let's talk about some of the logic blocks. Wow. Jeez. Logic blocks. That's a mouthful for me. I don't know why. So we have pushers, blockers, filters, and splitters. First, let's do the blockers. So let's put the blockers on the outside because these asteroid catchers have 2 outs. And we're going to utilize both of them. We'll block it. Block it. Block it. Block it. Oh, no, no, no. Go there. And there. And we'll delete you. Now you can also put these blockers in the tubes. Alright, you see it? I blocked all that stuff. And then I can click on it and say allow copper to go through. That's not copper? Is that iron? Yes, that's iron. All these cubes can be used in that way. Alright, so we got all our blockers in. Now, when you click on your blocker, by default, everything is blocked. But we're going to say allow ice cubes to come through and allow carbon to come through because we're going to send them somewhere else. We're almost there, we're almost there. Alright, now on this side, we're going to use the filter block. So this side is blocking ice cubes and carbon. Everything else is going to come out, which is just raw materials that need to be smelted into bars. You're going to have your iron, copper, gold. Not these three, but the rest of that. See, if you look in here, you got no gold or copper in that one. Yeah, that one's got some gold in it. Anyhow, so everything else but ice and carbon is going to come down this belt. So on this side, we want just the ice and carbon to come out, but nothing else. So we're going to put in a filter. And then we're going to choose ice and carbon. Ah, very good. Alright, so now that we have all our logistics set up, before we set up our belts, is there something in there? You're in the way. Alright, so we're going to set up a couple things here. Alright, so I set up a few things here. I put in a smelter. I put in an ice crusher. And then I put in 6 of these carbon generators. So we're going to show you how to use these blocks to feed those different machines. So what we're going to do, we're going to have these belts come all the way down. Let's click over to our belts, number 1. And once I let go of this, stuff should start coming out. Yep. There you go. Everything's going to come out but the carbon and ice. And then we want all that to go right into a smelter, because it needs to be smelted. That's just what happens. Now, this is in the middle, so we don't need to drag our belt all the way down there. We're going to come up to here, and then this one's going to go straight into there. And then this will come down like that. Only, we don't want the carbon to go through. Right now we're lucky, only ice came out. So I turned this one platform, so it can't go nowhere. It's stuck. Lucky for us, there's a lot of ice that's got to weed out before it starts doing the other one. So here is where we want the carbon to go. So we're going to use another block called a pusher. Right here is our pusher block. I want to line it up here with the middle. And then we're going to choose carbon. So when carbon comes across this block, it's going to get knocked off this direction. Let's put in a belt so it has somewhere to go. Yeah, right there. And then we want one going in, one going in. Alright, I'm loving it so far. Alright, so now let's turn this one. Because I want the carbon to stop, but we'll let the ice continue on. Because we still have to set up this logistics now. So now we're going to use our last one, which is the splitter. We're going to stick a splitter in each one of these. Just like that. Now inside each one of these splitters, you have a ratio split. Now because if we just leave it like it is, 2/3 of our split is going to stay here, and 1/3 is going to go up. And then 2/3 of that 1/3 is going to get split, and then very little, just 1/3 of 1/3 is going to make it up here to the end. So what we want to do is change our split ratio. Let me finish putting in these belts. Did I do that one? No. Alright, now we're done with the belts. Oh, I didn't want you guys to go yet. Alright. So, in order to fix the ratio split, 33% is 1/3. And you only want 1/3 of it going here, 1/3 of it going here, 1/3 going there. So 33 is 1/3. Let's split that 1/3 between two machines. And let's say 66% is going... gotta figure out the right number for 66. Is it 8? 4? That's pretty close. So 17% to each side, and that's like 2/3 moving up. Now, I want to take this one and make it half of that. So we want to make this 2, because we want 33%. I guess we could leave this one like it is. And then that would come out right. And then this one here, we want the middle one to say 0. Because that's going to make these two 50-50. And the reason why we say 0 is because there's nothing coming off the end here. So now we can turn this one here the right way. And we can kind of see how more of it's going to go forward than it is going to go off to the sides. And then same thing here. I guess this is kind of an equal split here. I don't know. I'm not very good at math, but I hope you guys understand the concept here of what you're trying to do with these ratio splits. You want to kind of try to make sure everything evens out so the back doesn't get filled up before the front and it's always starving. So now we got everything done with the ice and carbon and our iron and copper and gold. Everything is being sorted with logic blocks. Awesome. So now we have gold and copper and iron. Can we move that from here all the way up into that storage without drawing a belt? Let me show you how. So what we have here is the robot assembler. When you open up the recipe book, you're going to see transport bots, drones, farmers, and breeders. Right now we're going to go with the transport bot. We want to make 5 of them. And they're going to start cranking out. So then what we want to do is we want to move this copper bars up into this storage here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here where it says transport bot request. We're going to click the plus sign and we're going to click the icon symbol for the copper bars. Now you can change the ratio, like how many does it need to be in there. Right now we got it set for 50, so if there's 50 in there, they'll stop working. They won't keep hustling out your copper. So you can see the first one was already made and he's already going to work. We should have another one here popping out here in a few seconds. Oh, there he is. They're just dropping like rabbits here. Here comes our third one. But that's all you have to do to these guys. And you can click on anything. They all have that transport bot request where you can have something brought here. I don't know why you'd have something brought to a miner, but you can have ice brought to the ice crusher. I've got the aluminum bars being brought here by the transport bot, so I don't have to go and get it. I just check this to see if it's ready. So that's pretty much it for the transport bots. Now let's get into the farmers and the breeders. I got 2 little stations set up here. Be careful with these. Watch your water consumption. Oh, down here. Watch your water consumption. Depending on what you try to raise, like a chicken, I would stick with chickens. Chickens are so easy. They only consume 10. Where if you click on a pig, that's 20. That's not so bad. You can manage a pig. But I've noticed in most of my games, the water doesn't keep up enough for the cows. They birth the cows, they put them out in the field, but they never go back to them because there's just never 40 in the cow. It's used up everywhere else. Because you need this one over here growing wheat in order to feed your cows and chickens and stuff. You can see down there it says used. That's 2 wheat there in the middle. And that's created over here. So you can have the conveyor coming out of this one, going into that one. Field size. When you click on your animal, you can see the little dot down there, how many squares they need just for one animal. So if we was to choose chicken, they only need 1 square. So they literally can put out a whole bunch of chickens in this field. And they will. They'll fill it up. Now, one bot will have trouble completing this whole field with wheat. He might get maybe 60% of it, and then he's mining up what just got done growing. So he'll never be able to fill this up. So let's go down here and let's create a couple bots. First, we're going to create a farmer bot. There he goes. And then we're going to need the aluminum bars. I got 16 of them in there. That's exactly how many we need, 2 of them. The farmer needs 1 bot and the breeders need 2 bots. We'll just go ahead and let them crank out. So you can see our bot coming out. They automatically find themselves a home. You don't have to find them a home. As soon as he realizes that he's got a home up there, he'll go. I think I clicked on him, didn't I? Oh. Sorry. I turned that off. I had done a dry run of this and I had to delete the robots, but yeah, sorry. Let me turn them back on. Alright, so we got 1 of them and a farmer. As soon as he comes over here and checks in and sees what he's got to do, then he'll start to go to work right away. Now if you look, you see it only needs 1 robot for this. Whereas this one requires 2. So we got 1 in his home. He's waiting for his partner. Coming up the ramp now. And now you see they're putting down the chickens. Which is good food. I mean, you could do the pigs, but chickens are easy to get you eggs. The guys seem to like them. I mean, who doesn't like eggs? And that's pretty much it for the drones, the work drones, you know. And same thing with the mining drones. Do I have... Yes, I do over here. No? I thought I had a mining drone set up somewhere. Alright, let's set up a miner drone here. We'll set it up over here so it's close to power lines. We'll even use this little platform right here. Alright. Let's bring up some wire. I was kind of hoping that would go straight in. That's okay. So now when you click on here, you see all these different resources, but you can only pick one. So let's say, I mean, the most people will want is either carbon or aluminum. So we're going to choose aluminum, and if we hit our scanner button, the drones, none of your robots will ever cross these barriers. they will only stick to the colony platform that you built them on. So if we built them on, like I have my original space station is just my engine now. I keep it up here in the air, and then when I'm ready to go somewhere, I hit the docking thing, and it'll come down here and connect to this one. And then it's just right here in the middle of my air dome, and then we're able to go wherever we want. I kind of like it. So I got enough solar panels there. If you look at my power, I'm a little bit over by 400. And it seems to work out great for me. I love it. So when I'm not using the engines, all I gotta do is just grab one of my engines here, and I click the up thing, and then I just raise it up until it's out of my way. And once it's out of my way, I can go to work, and I don't have to worry about engines in my way anywhere. I love that. Anyhow, so I got sidetracked. I'm sorry. Same thing with the mining drone. So we got ourselves a thing here. If you hit your C button, you can scan the surface of the planet. So we are looking right here. We see there's aluminum, but it's buried. So what I like to do is I like to unbury it, because your miner drones will mine dirt back and forth, one scoop at a time, until it gets down to the aluminum. But we'll show you that. I'll show you that. I just want to show you what I do. I would expose the aluminum right away so that they're not wasting time on the dirt. So let's go up here and let's create a couple of these drones. We'll make 2 of them. Each pad needs 2 drones to operate. And like everything else, they'll auto-assign themselves. You don't have to click on them or have them do anything. You're controlling the actual pad itself, not the drones. Same thing with the transport bots, the farmer, the breeder. All those are controlled by the buildings they work in. So he's going to come down here, he's going to check in and see what he needs to do, and then he'll go right back up there and start mining in that hole I was just digging in. And the other one should be popping out here pretty soon. But you're going to see him. Yep, see, he just took a little piece of dirt and then went on. And there's my other drone. Little piece of dirt. Same thing with you. And you don't even get that dirt. That's the sad thing about it. You don't even get that dirt. You come back over here and you look, it's empty. But you got your conveyor belts coming out. You can have your transport bots come down here and take the resources somewhere. I could say over here, because this is where I was making my aluminum. So I could come here and say transport bots, make aluminum. Now, if you do a lot of requests from a lot of machines, I would suggest making more than 5. You know, maybe 10 or 15, depending on how many requests you're making of these little guys here. But as soon as some aluminum gets mined and it shows up in inventory, these guys here, they'll spring into action. So don't feel like you've done something wrong if they're not moving right away. Alright, so I've cleared the board here. I took away our farms. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the signal blocks. I bet that's what a lot of people came here to see. It took me a minute to figure this out. I reached out to the dev. I didn't get nothing back, unfortunately, but I was still able to figure it out. So hopefully I'm doing this right. So we want to start with antennas and receivers. Now, basically, this is designed to go from planetoid to planetoid or base to base. So these signals and receivers will cross this threshold. It will go from planet to planet, and you can control stuff. Basically, this is what we're doing. We are turning things on and off depending on what inventory is telling the signal. So if something gets low, like in here we have 12 iron bars. Now if those 12 iron bars happens to go away, we would want, let's say we put a whole bunch of this iron ore in there. But we don't want that iron ore to come out yet, so we put in a blocker. Simple as that. We're not going to program it to do anything. Then we put in our iron ore and nothing can come out. So now let's say if these 12 bars were to go away somewhere because they got used, and we don't want to use up all this resource. It doesn't have to be iron. I'm just using this as an example. It could be computer chips or something. But and these blockers, they could go anywhere. They could go in front of any machine that's got in or out. But what we want to do is control how much is being made. So if I only want 12 at a time being made, how do we control that in a way where, say, how about this? Let's make this a little bit more believable. We are going to remove that blocker. We'll let that stuff come in. But for now, I'm going to turn that sideways because I don't want them going in quite yet. This, outputting all of our bars to whatever this is going to be. So this doesn't have to be a storage. It could be a constructor or something. But you want to control how much is going to the constructor. So let's put in a blocker here. That'll block everything from coming out. And then we can go ahead and turn you and let you do your thing. Now the bars will go in here and they'll freeze. Now what we want to do is when this machine uses up, like I said, it doesn't have to be a storage facility. It could be any machine that's using that particular material. But we're just using storage because it's easy to grab it. So once this is used up, we want another 12 to come down and then stop. Because maybe we have another setup where we're using these outputs and it's going to a couple machines. It could go a couple different ways. Or we have this belt splitting or something like that. It's hard to tell. So how do we control that? I'm sorry, I'm babbling so much. How do we control that? So let's start with our antenna. Now the antenna is going to go wherever, whatever platform. It doesn't have to be anywhere near it. It just has to be on the same colony platform. Like this planet is a colony platform. So I have plates, floors laid down. I got floors up here. This is all considered one colony. So I can have this all the way over here. But we're going to put it here just so everything is nice and neat and orderly. Now let's give that a little bit of power. Only this one needs power. The other side doesn't. Alright. So, now, what does this do? It's going to send a signal. But it needs to connect to something. So you can have a bunch of these arrays set up. You don't have to have just one. But we're going to use just one for now. A signal receiver. This one receiver can do a lot. So let's put that there. And we're going to pretend like we're mountains apart. So what we're going to do is come in here. We're going to click this link button. And then we're going to look around for our receiver that we want to use. Which is going to be this one. Now we have a lock. They're talking to each other. Well, he's talking to him. Now, what do we want to do is send a signal of this inventory saying 12. So we're going to grab the inventory sensor. This will be the only one that you put on this side. You can put the rhythmic one over here, but I'll explain what the rhythmic one does. But like the other one, it doesn't have to be anywhere close, but you could put it right up against it, but we want to space it out a little bit because I want to show you your options here. So we're going to grab the cable and we're going to feed that into there. Now if we want, we could grab and put in another one. You can have multiple ones. Once I show you how to set this up, you'll understand what you can do with that. Alright, so we already got one there. So what we want to do is we want to monitor the iron ingots that's in there. So here we'll click on iron ingots. That's the resource we selected. But now we have to select where we watching it from. So I could pick this and it would give me the inventory of that module there. But we're going to pick this one because this is going to be our pretend constructor or machinist or manufacturer or whatever it is. But it's a storage for now. So we click on that and you can see the icon of what you chose up here. We are watching we are sensing the inventory of iron ingots in the storage, and it's giving me my output of 12. Now, if we wanted to, say we want to do ice also, we could do that. And it would give me the inventory of both those together. And if we click on our antenna, you can see that's the signal it's sending. Now, if we want to monitor the inventory of something else, we can click on this. And let's say we want to monitor the inventory of silver bars. And I'm pretty sure I might have some silver bars in here. Yes, I got 3 in there. So we'll click on this. We'll hit the link button. And then we have that. And it's showing my total of 3. So now we are sending that information across the board. So I could have my drones grabbing the silver ore that's being mined by our mining drones down here and have it automatically processed. But what we can also do is control this machine. We could turn it on and off. We could turn the blocker on and off. We could turn the whole storage thing on or off. Let me show you how we do that according to our inventory. So we're going to come in here and we're going to grab the decider now. And let's put that, because I want to put an inline here. We're going to put another block in the middle. But we're not going to do it right away. We're going to put the rhythmic block in there. But first I want to show you this can be done without it. Alright, so now we're going to click on this. Now we're going to say if this is less than 8, then we want to turn off this blocker. Right now the blocker's on, it's doing its job, it's blocking. So if we turn it off, we have that selected now. And then we could come over here and say only iron ingots are allowed through the blocker. Well, no, we don't want that. That would mess it all up. Oh, wait a minute. We got the signal backwards. Right? Oh. Wait, no. Then we got 55. Oh, I never selected the... Okay. So, now let's flip that back to less than. And that should stop the flow. There we go. I got a little... Alright. So, let's pull this back out. We're going to split this so that we just got our 12 again. Alright, so now what we want to do is activate this. And the way we're going to activate this is we're going to have a couple of these drones take some of these out until it's below 8. So let's put up a little storage facility here. And then we're going to say, bring me iron ingots. You're not supposed to go to that one. Oh, that didn't work out. You can't really control where they're going to grab their iron ingots from. But, let's see here. Let's go to our belts. Alright. So, let's pull this stuff here out. Now that when we drop below 8, this should automatically kick on. And then if we turn that belt so that no more can come out, that will start to go back up, and it should turn this back off. There it goes. That's signal management right there. And like I said, you can send this information across long distances here. And say we wanted to control this instead. So now we are controlling the smelter itself. And you can see let's see here. So then we want to change this, I believe, to reverse this. Yes. So now if we're greater than 12, this is going to stop producing because we switched it from less than to greater. Now if we turn this belt. Alright, so we have our little setup here. So if you wanted to control this instead of the block, we changed our number to 13. And we got it aimed at this thing here. And right now it's turning it off because it's saying there's at least 13 pieces in there. We have greater than 13. Leave it off. So let's pull out say half of that. And you can see the machine came back on. It's now mining. And once that gets above 13, this should turn back off. And there it goes. And then I'm using the less than and greater than signs, but you could use the equal or less than and equal or not. It's however you want to set that up. I just basically want to show you how they work and what they're for. Now if you want to get into some really complicated stuff, like you're trying to figure out resources for 20 different smelters and you need to do some calculations and if you run down to 20 but you're going to need 60 and all that good stuff. So we can add in the arithmetic block here for the calculation side of this all. Now when you look at your arithmetic blocks, it has a thing on both sides. It's the only block that has an in and out. So you want to make sure that you have everything going in the right direction or this won't work. Turn that around. Alright, so we are selecting this and ice. I believe we were sending. Oh no, aluminum. So now we see our numbers down here. Now with these blocks, we can do mathematical equations. You could put a whole bunch of these blocks in a row. You could have it do this equation and then go through and do this equation. But the thing that you're looking for is this final output number here. And that should really turn off by now. I want to get to one solid number here so it's easy to see. Alright, let's do a split here. I need to go get some air. Alright, so that leaves us 80 in there. This will only take a second. Alright. So if we need to work with higher numbers or do some kind of a calculation, we have all the calculator stuff here. So let's say we times this by 2. And that should give us 160. Right there, it says 160. So whatever mathematical equation you put into this, whatever operation you perform, that number is what our decider is going to see. So if we're outputting 160 ingots, then this is going to see... Why am I not seeing my ingots? Ingots and aluminum. Oh, it never did show it here. I'm sorry. But yeah, so this is going to read whatever this is saying, not what this is saying. So our little machine here, it's saying if we're down below 13, you're going to turn back on. But the problem with that is, well, it's not a problem. It's going to do what you program it to do. So it's not going to stop at 13 now. Now it won't stop until it reaches that 146 or wherever that was, because we multiplied by 2. No, it's going to be 26. So that shuts off at 26 now instead of 13. Let's try to do that again. So we're watching it. There's 13. Oh, it shut off. It didn't do it. Signal generated. Oh, so if we want to do twice as much, we'd want to do divide. Now see, it came back on, because now it's going to give us 24. Well, 26 because it's 13. As those two go in there and there, it shuts off again. So that's all this is doing. It's changing the number that this antenna is receiving. Whatever it be, whatever you program at the top, it's going to change those numbers by these mathematical operations that you plug in. And like I said, you could plug in a bunch of them in a row before you get your final output number. And then that's what you're going to get in return. If it gets down to 13, it's going to give you 26 back. If that 26 drops down to 13 again, it's going to drop another 26. So that kind of keeps it filled up without overflowing it. So that way you can redirect some of this resource somewhere else. It doesn't all have to go into this smelter. You can have it all going into another smelter that's making your iron rods. But every once in a while you need this smelter to kick on just to make sure that that machine doesn't run out. That's what you use your signals for. I hope that was helpful for a lot of people, because until you actually see it set up, it's kind of hard to understand what they were supposed to do. But now you know, and no one's half the battle. Alright, let's move on to our final thing. Alright, so now we have... Let's talk about this little problem here. Let's talk about this one. We got the remote fabricator. Now this also requires some drone bots. We can do things with this, but we can't do the fabricator, so we're not really going to talk about this yet. The fabricator drones, they are not unlocked. Right here it shows it locked up. You can make all the stuff to create the drones, but this is not unlocked. No matter if you unlocked your tree or not, that's further down the tree that we don't see yet. We still have more tree to come. We just haven't seen it all. Remember, this is a testing platform. This is not a complete game, so bear with it. Things can change. So that's that issue. So I wouldn't waste my time on creating one of these. Now, we have our mining buggy. When you try to create your buggy, I just want to show you this real quick. By default, the mining one does not have the mining crane on it. By default, the rover doesn't. So what you got to do is go over here where it says design vehicle, and you go under modify, and we've already put it on there. But if we choose a new rover here where it doesn't have it on, then we can hit customize, modify. Then we could click on excavator, and that would add that on there. And then I think this would add containing space. And then you have your little booster here we could put on somewhere, I guess. But that's how we get the excavator arm on there. And then you would just name it. And then once you name it, it would show up in your craftables. Like I got it, the one I made down there below called Rover New. So when we go down here and let's look at Rover New. Where did you go? Where did you go? There you are. Ideally, you would think I could mine up some of this copper here pretty easy, but I'm having troubles doing that. You click the F button to enter the machine, and then left click allows you to mine, and then all you gotta do is just wave your mouse around. You see it has no problems chewing up dirt. Oh yeah, it'll eat the dirt up. But I'm having problems with it mining. Like that should have been the main thing there, right? And then I can get my arm to go up and down. I know that some people has been able to do that. Let me see here. Is there a button I can push? No, I'm trying different things. Wow, it's mining below me now. Oh, there we go. Space bar will make it go up. So this would be excellent for mining out caves, because it does chew up the dirt greatly. Let's see if we can, let's see if we can't get back up here. I want to see if I can't mine that copper. There we go. Let's get right up there. Alright, let's try the space bar. Oh, I'm mining quartz. And then Alt would get it to go back down. So yeah, I am mining quartz, but it's not catching the copper, which is kind of odd. So maybe this is your quartz mining machine right here. But yeah, you can really use it for getting them tunnels dug out quick. Alright, let's move on to the spaceship. Q, not escape. We are going to choose spacecraft. This one's a fun one. Alright, that didn't take too long. Look at our beautiful spaceship. Oh, what a glorious looking cockpit. Too bad we don't get to sit inside it. We sit outside it. So your space bar's up, your alt's down. We can move forward, we can do left and right. No, I didn't turn that on. There are, if you go into your modifier and your settings, you can turn on strafe left, strafe right, and change a few things about how the spaceship reacts. But it does have boost if you hit the shift button. And with this, we can go visit other planets. Like there's one down there. Let's go check out that one. And we can get there pretty quick. Oh, look at it. It's coming up quick. There's a lot of asteroids out here. Now, I think the idea behind the spaceship is to go from planet to planet like this, but not with you in it. It's supposed to be for transporting materials from one planet to another. Like I'm hoping, I'm really hoping in the future there's an ice planet they put into the game so that we can mine ice off the planet itself. And then we can just let that float out there and we could use these spaceships to run routes back and forth. Look at that, we did it. Oh, we got stuck on that piece of quartz there. All right. So where's my base at? Way up there. Way up there. We're 5.5. Yeah, we're almost 5.5 light years away from our base. Wow. So that's about it. Let me know if you guys need any more help. You know, suggest a scenario or a video that you might like to see me make on this game, and I'll put one together for you. But I'm thinking this is a pretty awesome game. I'm loving it. It's not stressful. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button. We'll see you guys next turn. Thanks for watching.